I talk about how other ancient writings relate to the book of Genesis. So a common argument that I've heard is people saying that if there are other, books that say similar sorts of thing in ancient times that you see in the Bible, that somehow that takes away from the credibility of the Bible in those sections, because obviously the Bible was copied, is the thought. Well, I kind of tend to look at it a different way, and I think scholars tend to look at it a different way, in that when you have multiple different writings that are all talking about the same sort of thing, it's a confirmation that something like that, in fact, did really happen. We have over 200 flood narratives around the world, not just in Mesopotamia, that Moses would have heard about, they talk about these great floods early on in history. We have creation myths in China, also in Mesopotamia. And the one in Mesopotamia is very close to what we see in Genesis. So these seem like actual confirmations that something like what we see in Genesis really did happen. Finally, I would add that what we know about Genesis itself is that actually it came from an inspiration from a time that Moses was actually spending with God. At least that's what the history tells us. And so what we can know, on top of what we can know from just seeing these other accounts, is we can actually know that there's a more sure record here. That if God really delivered this to Moses, Moses talked with God about this, we can know this is a more sure record of these things.